What kind of sicko voyeur would set up hidden cameras in an intensive care unit? The Peekaboo ICU next on the 6 at Cast.
Hello, everybody. It is a 6 at Cast for Thursday, February 27th, 2020. We got a big show today. We're going to talk about sex for the third time. And joining me on that topic would be my good friend to my left, Manuel.
Hey, what's up?
And my other half, Sarah.
Hi.
Okay, so right before we hit record, I had let it slip that I had tripped yesterday in the house. You know, I just had my birthday, and I've been fearing that as I get older, I'm going to die.
Pause. Happy birthday, honey.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday. I meant to tell you over text, but I wanted to do it personally, and then I never saw you, so.
Oh, God. Well,
there was talk about the movies, but I worked.
Oh, okay. Well, as I get older, I fear that I'm just going to die, and one of the ways that I envision myself dying is tripping in my house and dying.
So not of old age technically, but like because you're old, something will happen physically.
It will involve me falling.
Oh.
And the one at the top is not falling from the attic. It's getting out of our claw tub because it has a high wall and it's elevated off the ground. I'm a short guy. That equals bad scenario.
The bathtub, the bathtub that you guys have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did you call it?
It's a clawfoot tub.
It's a clawfoot. So it's awkward for me. I need when I get in and out, I like grip. Anyway, I haven't fallen yet.
He has his oh shit sides and bars and walls.
The other day I was walking through the living room and, you know, my controller for my Xbox has a cord to it. And as I walked over it, for whatever reason, Sarah pulled on the controller.
Not on purpose.
Oh, that does not.
And it's one of those things when like you're going down a flight of stairs and you expect a step and there's not a step. You're like, oh, whoa. Well, the cord lifted. I had already like started to lower my leg. Mm-hmm. And that when I saw it come up, it blew my mind. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And like I literally like hopped or stepped down on the cord, which then pulled from her hands, but she still held on. And I thought immediately, oh shit, my Xbox is going to fall. And then I like panicked and staggered forward and fell to the ground.
But so then the Xbox didn't fall or anything because you chose to take the fall.
I took the fall so my Xbox would not. And when I landed on the ground, I was like, that just happened. Like I literally could have landed on my head because I like nosedived. It felt like.
Yeah. You have to, otherwise you will either. She's not going to let go, and nothing's holding on to the Xbox.
And so, like when I was laying there, she came panicking, like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And here I am, like chuckling, and I was like, "Is my Xbox okay?" Oh wow, god! So that was a big thing yesterday.
So he's only bringing that up because he felt like he almost tripped over a different cord just now.
Yes, this cord that plugs in the soundboard. Like as I walked like this way, I stepped on it, which made me kind of flash to.
Because he pretty much stepped on the cord yesterday, but in midair.
Did we talk about crazy deaths already on the show?
No, I don't think so.
I think
if we just did a quick Google search, we could find plenty of weird ways that people have died.
We should do that because I want to know if there's any cable kind of deaths like that. I just feel like that's more like a Final Destination thing.
Yeah,
you know, like I don't think it's
that show. You know, 1,000 Ways that was it
1,000 Ways to Die?
Did you ever watch that show?
No,
at all.
I saw the movie 1,000 Ways or 1,000,000 Ways to Die in the West, or what was it? Something like that.
That was it. That movie was funny. I liked it.
No, that movie was funny. Wait. Yeah. I thought there was a show, and then there was in the West.
There is a show.
Yeah. There is a show completely unrelated to the Seth MacFarlane movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you ever watch 1,000 Ways to Die?
No.
So I randomly dropped in on a random episode, and I watched this guy that was a peeping Tom on this girl that was in her living room doing yoga. He stuck his head through the window, and somehow he I don't know if he wanted to try to crawl in through the window, but he nudged it and it slipped down and it $1 million babied his neck. And it broke his neck and he died stuck in the window.
How fragile must she be? Just the weight of the window. I get it if the glass was sharp and it was already broken. Yeah. Like, like in Ghost or something.
No, screw that. That's karma. Thank you.
Maybe.
Serving instant.
But what's funny is that something like that can kill a man, yet hanging from a second floor window naked, clinging for life, like in that video that we saw, and the guy falls, lands through a dumpster and like eats it on the ground, and he's not dead. Like, how does that happen?
It's, not karma.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but it isn't. I mean, the story was that person that he was sleeping with was like married, and the lover came home.
And
he had to bail.
Yeah, bless
But
his
There's
heart.
2 of those.
But he had to bail, and he was naked. He's clinging to the side of the building.
And people are watching this. That's the karma, is embarrassment.
It's just embarrassment. You still live, though.
Yeah. I like particularly like when he rolls off of the dumpster and eats it on the ground. It's funny the way he falls. It's so, you can't write it better than this. Like, we don't see his penis at all because of the way he falls, and it's just protected. And then when he's laying on the ground, there's a police officer like feet from him, and they don't even move. They're just like, that happened.
What do? You didn't break the law other than public indecency. Cover it up, son.
Manuel, how have you been in the week that we've been gone?
I feel like so much has happened. I don't even know what to discuss. Like I can't. Like in this moment, I can't remember other than I told you we bought new couches.
Yeah, how's that holding up?
I have rearranged, and tonight I will rearrange again.
Y'all haven't found the sweet spot yet?
Nope.
Is it just slightly too big?
It fits, but because it's an L sectional thing.
Yeah.
The side where David and Oli would normally sit is actually a little bit shorter than it was before because the other couches were separated.
Yeah.
And this is connected. So it looks too short on that side.
Oh.
But 3 of these recline electrically.
Well, that's still pretty good because we just got the one, and it's manual.
Well, the good thing about that is when you want to get up, you don't have to wait for the bzzz.
Okay, that is true.
You just...
When we got our couch, do you remember, Sarah, when the little pull string detached?
I remember that.
And how, oh God, what a chore that was. Here we are, 2 people who've never had to deal with that sort of thing before, trying to do that.
Figure it out.
Thank goodness for a YouTube video.
Is that how we did it? We did it through a YouTube video, yeah.
Heck yeah. People are doing all sorts of stuff through YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, my transmission went out. And like a week later, you see them on YouTube and the transmission's sitting next to them. I'm like, that's your transmission, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty good. How have the kids been doing and the whole your house being haunted?
The last thing was the kid crying in the hallway.
So nothing else
Nothing
happened?
from then other than the dog. I want you guys to hear this clip, and I guess I can put it on the thing. Last night at 2:54 in the morning, I was woken up by a bunch of dog sounds, like howling. But I don't know if it sounds like if it is a dog, but
okay.
You guys tell me if it sounds like a dog or not. And I was able, once I woke up to this, I was like, it's obviously dogs, or not obviously dogs, but it sounds like some sort of animal. So I turned the cameras on to see if I could catch a little bit of it, and this is what I was able to catch.
Okay.
Those dogs barking.
Yeah. There was one howling.
One more.
That sounds like someone making a dog howl.
Right? Like it sounds like a human doing that.
Yeah.
That was the end of it. But
Really?
it was the loudest part that you heard was consistent that enough to wake me up.
So that was pretty loud then.
And so then I activated the cameras manually and started recording to see if it would pick up the audio to like almost to ensure that I wasn't going crazy.
Yeah.
Like I am hearing these weird noises.
Wow. And that was at just at 3 in the morning.
Yep.
Okay. And you think it sounded like a person?
It's not a dog.
That last bit did, because you can howl, and then if a dog will howl back, it'll do it louder. That's what it sounded like to me.
But this was the end of it.
Yeah.
When I was woken up, it was like 10 of them at the same time. Like something was going on.
Do you have coyotes out there or anything?
There are coyotes. When she said coyotes, I'm like, yeah, coyotes. But then I was talking in Spanish earlier to my mom about it, and I was saying coyote. So it like freaked me out just now. I was like, coyote. What? Anyway, yeah. I have seen some in the neighborhood next to us, but in my neighborhood, never. But that doesn't mean that there isn't.
Yeah, it might have just been that.
Because
they're pretty loud.
To me, it sounded like a coyote. Mm-hmm. It didn't quite sound like a dog, although I guess it could have been a dog. Well, I guess that's good that nothing else has happened since then.
No, nothing else other than that.
Okay, I've always wondered because I've never experienced anything.
You have.
Well, I mean, I've never heard stuff, in a hallway or anything like that. Like, I don't know, even as like a 33-year-old man, if I was to have heard a child crying in my hallway, I don't know how I would be able to like comfortably fall asleep in an environment like that. Like, are they just cool with it?
They started leaving their door open.
I wouldn't do that.
No, I don't think that would help. But
I guess they left the door open just to be able to escape quicker, like, yell. Yeah.
Okay, maybe. Good God.
I'd be too scared to wake up in the middle of the night, depending on where the bed is positioned, and just look out the door and see shit.
Oh man.
I'm thinking of putting the big one of the sides, like where Nolan and David used to sit, that part going on the opposite side, and it would look towards the hallway.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say at one point someone was sitting in an area, because you have reconfigured your living room several times, and I want to say that you had a couch or a chair on that side of
the corner was on that corner.
And didn't someone say there's someone or some movement in the hallway one time? Because it's always dark.
Yeah.
I remember sitting there one time hoping that I would see something, and I never saw anything.
The one who's asking for it
never gets it. And it's always, okay. Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. Sarah, has your week gone by without any paranormal mumbo jumbo?
Yeah, it's quiet over in these parts.
Oh, God. Don't rub it in. God. The most exciting thing that happens here is what? Sally almost escaped again?
Yeah, with Madison. Madison was leaving. I hear...
She's letting you know, hey, I'll be back.
Yeah, but she went right past me. So it's me and Madison, and she crossed that threshold, and Madison and I were like, no, what are you doing? She turns back around, freaks out. It's like, okay, nice try.
She knew
she was going to get her ass busted if she continued on. But yeah, I was over here sitting on the couch, and I was, they were saying their goodbyes, and I didn't even realize that Sally had tried to escape.
That is so funny because she could have just left, like said nothing, like just walked right, but she was like, I gotta say, I'm gonna walk out.
She protested. She says, "Mommy, watch this."
Yeah, I'm walking out.
Try something.
Mm-hmm. And then he was like, what are you doing? And then she's like, oh shit, I'm sorry.
I got caught.
Yeah. God, I so wonder on a cold night when it gets like in the 50s or 40s if that cat would even, if she went outside, how long would it take for her to realize?
Oh, she'll learn to be grateful then.
She's like, this ain't fun. My paws are cold. I'm cold.
And I'm hungry.
That little bee.
She's like, I'm only under the car and now I'm hungry. This was a long trip from the front door to under the car.
I feel like it'd be a Toy Story adventure.
Yeah.
I saw Toy Story 4, by the way.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Tell us, how much did you like it?
I didn't. I thought it was okay. Maybe the magic's gone. I don't know.
No, the magic's not gone. Something's wrong with you.
No. Is it?
I don't know.
Sad.
Maybe. I mean, I cried like a baby.
You cried because Woody stayed.
No, I cried because he left. Should we mention spoilers?
Stayed or left, whatever.
He left. He chose to leave.
But technically stayed, right?
Yeah.
He stayed.
And as it was happening in front of me, I was thinking all these different ways of, I don't know, like I wanted him to go back with the group, and then when he chose to stay away, I then realized this is probably it. There's no way they're going to make a sequel anymore because cast members are dying. They're getting old. Woody's no longer
really
part of the...
need is Tom Hanks.
And I was like, I don't think that... I think this is it, bro. And then she asked me if I was okay.
And he just bawled.
I was not okay.
Tom Hanks and Tim Allen have at least 30 more years, bro. If they can just do the voice. They don't have to be the star in a live action movie or whatever. But... No, I think it killed it for me because when he said, I think she'll be okay, thinking like it's about Bo, but it was actually about Bonnie. She'll be okay without you.
Yeah.
Immediately I was like, okay, so then I guess the next movie will be years have gone by and they haven't seen each other and it's the reunion of Buzz and Woody.
No.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I had honestly thought that Andy would grow up. And
be the
he
end
would come.
of it.
He would come back years later, and now Bonnie is a teenager or whatever. And she would have the old toys stowed away in her closet, and she's into makeup and cell phones and whatever. And then Andy would come by and he would ask, can I buy them back? Because now I have a child, and I want to, if you will give me back my old toys, I want to give them to my child.
Right.
And if that had happened, I think I would have
That's
died
what should
of-
have. That's what should have happened.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening now. Now it's just gonna be about the toys. Buzz is doing an adventure and he runs into Woody exactly how Woody ran into Bo.
Sarah,
End
would
of
you
the
want to
line.
see a Toy Story 5?
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I really
Let's
don't
make
think
a
it's
bet.
gonna- I really don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, I think Andy would have kids. And then that'd be the only way. But then it's like, she doesn't have Woody.
Not
That's-
yet.
that's
Buzz
probably-
is gonna be like, I'm gonna go get Woody.
And then what? Bonnie's going to be like, oh, there's Woody. I misplaced you when I
All
was
these
years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, Bonnie was the most careless child throughout the whole. Like, things would move it like from one side to the other, down to the bottom to the top, like all the time.
Yeah.
And she would look away for a split second. I don't believe that.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, they got away with it with Andy.
They never did that.
With,
Oh,
yeah,
they did it a little bit, but it was like literally from
It was
left
reasonable
to right.
doubt.
Yeah, it was reasonable. Not like I just had Forky here. Why is he back there? This is paranormal stuff. She's gonna bust out one of those like heat detector things.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, my God. All right, well, for my birthday, I went and saw Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie.
How was it?
Man, I got to say, dude, I loved that movie.
Really?
For me, it's probably the the best video game movie that's ever been made. Probably.
But that's what you said last week without watching it. Are these your words? You
That's
mean
the
it.
what the reviews and all that and the money that it's getting. Because if it was bad, people would just not go see it.
Like Cats.
Well, I'm talking about video game movies.
Right.
Like Assassin's Creed probably should have been better, but it just wasn't.
The Dragon Ball
And
Z
then-
movie wasn't bad. I'm just kidding.
Wow,
That was really bad.
that was bad. I don't even know anything about Dragon Ball, and I knew that was bad. I was like, this is what you guys get hard up for? Kettler, Zach,
Hard.
Emor, all y'all?
They probably covered their face like,
They're
no.
just like, we're embarrassed as a group. And I'm like, y'all should be. But yeah,
Was it funny?
it was pretty funny.
Okay.
And had they not done the redesign, I think a lot of these jokes would have fallen flat. And I think it has to do with the fact that Sonic is borderline cute. And it's like Detective Pikachu. You know, he's fun to look at. And every time he was on screen, I was just looking at him because I don't care about the people. I care about Sonic. And dude, Jim Carrey, he, like, if you don't even care about Sonic and you care just a little bit about Jim Carrey, you're going to like this movie because Jim Carrey, he hits it out of the park with this.
Good.
And when I heard that he got cast as Robotnik, I was a little upset because I was like, he's not fat. I would not have picked anyone else to even play Robotnik after seeing this. There's no one else that I could even think of that would come close to being Robotnik.
You're going to
than
bring
Jim
a
Carrey.
tear to my eye.
Yeah, you should go see Sonic the Hedgehog.
I will.
It was
now.
genuinely good. And Tails is in it, bro. Right at the very end.
Spoiler.
No, it's not a spoiler. And he looks good. And Tails was like my favorite as a kid growing up. Because Sonic was like that cool older cousin, and then Tails was like that kid, and I was like, that's me.
Tails comes
the
and
kid.
picks him up. Never mind. I'm not going to say no. Don't tell me. I want to watch it.
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy it. And I think you should go see it too, Sarah.
Knuckles is his cousin or something?
No. Knuckles is not in this.
No, I didn't say he was in this. I said, is Knuckles his cousin?
No.
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 They're
not related at all. They're just friends.
It's just like you and me.
Yeah.
You and I.
Yeah. I did watch the Jaws movies while we were gone.
I like how casually you. I did do this.
I did do this, and Sarah was asleep again.
I did a thing.
We all know the original Jaws is great. It's a very, very good movie. And as an adult, you understand all the politics that go into a crisis happening to a small town that needs tourists, especially on this like 4th of July weekend or whatever.
Protocol.
You know, the book was pretty good too. And the one major change that Spielberg did from the movie from the book was dump the middle act that featured Richard Dreyfuss, his character. He's the guy that comes from the university to examine the shark and the bite and all that stuff. His character has an affair with Sheriff Brody's wife. And that was in the book. And when I listened to the book, it's so strange. You go from like the shark and all that stuff, love story, an affair. And then back to the movie.
Thriller.
And I could totally understand why Spielberg was like, why is this even in here? So he just cut that. And, you know, the movie is what it is. It looks beautiful on Blu-ray. It had been a long time since I'd seen Jaws 2. And, you know, Sheriff Brody's back in it with his kids. And kids wanted to go off and be like, oh, we're just going to go parasailing, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, there's another shark. I don't know where the shark comes from. So Sheriff Brody has to try to save a couple of kids.
Daddy's got to save the world.
Yeah. A couple of kids die. It's all right. With each movie, the shark, like, you could tell that the shark isn't as good as it was in the original one, even though the original one, the machine didn't work half the time. Yeah, I told Sarah, there's a scene in Jaws 2 where the shark is running parallel to a boat and it opens its mouth real wide. And you know how a boat is like curved? So when the shark goes along the side of the boat, it like bends the mouth inward and you could see all the gears and hydraulics inside the mouth for just a second.
Really?
Yeah, but the mouth was open really, really wide. And I was like, oh, well, I wasn't supposed to see that. But when you're watching it in HD, you see everything.
It's like seeing a boom mic at the very top.
Yeah. What was that?
That scared me.
What could that have been?
I heard something off to the left from over here. The attic fell? The attic. Wow. The attic fell open.
Oh, fuck no.
Okay, I'm gonna start recording. What? Has this ever happened before?
No.
You heard that too, right?
What was that? What?
That sounded like a fucking growl.
Yeah, like a growl. What? Like I'm getting goosebumps, bro. You didn't hear it was like that.
You sure it wasn't just that?
I don't know.
Was it after I closed the lid?
Yes.
If something's here, you are out. You are not allowed here.
Kitty. You okay, honey?
What?
There's a possum under the bed.
Oh my God! Where's Sally?
Is there really a possum here?
Yeah.
Well, that explains it. Oh my God! So that explained the growl.
Okay, we're recording again. So yeah, there was a loud bang, and we went snooping around, and it was not what you guys were thinking that it was.
I'm glad.
Sarah, what was it that you started to think was happening?
I thought an entity was here. Just, it's like, God, did we just jinx it or something?
A very angry one.
Yeah, just, it had enough.
Yeah. So it turns out that it wasn't an entity. It wasn't anything paranormal or cool like that. We had an animal up in the attic that was sitting on the little door. The door fell open, made a huge bang, and the little possum then scurried its way into our bedroom. And
It could have gone to the bathroom.
I don't know. Maybe.
Seriously?
What if there was others? And that's the only one we found. Oh, fuck.
Shut up,
I
honey.
thought of that, but
I don't know. I guess we'll find out later.
Aye, Manuel.
But as I was closing the attic door, you and Sarah heard a growl.
We legit heard a growl.
Y'all heard it twice.
and it was in the other room, so it was perfect enough to where it was like something among us, you
Yeah.
know, not like coming from.
And then here I am like a dope, and I'm thinking, what are you guys talking about? Y'all heard? How come I didn't hear anything?
Right, you were like immediately skeptical. You're like, "What?" But I didn't hear anything. How did you two hear something and I didn't?
Yeah. And then Sarah was starting to get a little worked up, and I'm sorry.
I said, whatever is fucking here is not allowed to be here, so
Yeah.
you need to get out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be audible in the first clip. I think I'm going to leave it in.
You should. I want to hear that sound because that was. We're in a different room.
Yeah, and that sounded really loud. So I went into the bedroom and I was looking around.
We were looking for Sally.
Yeah, and I just knelt down and I looked under the bed. And I was like, "Oh, that's Sally." Wait a minute, that doesn't look like Sally. And like it moved its head, and I was like, "Oh, it has a long snout. That's a possum."
And his facial expression was, they're not going to believe me when I tell them.
Were you still recording when I came out of the bedroom?
I think so.
And I was just like, "We have a possum. It's not a demon. Thanks, bye." Oh, God. So we had to call our landlord, who thankfully lives next door, and he's much more... I don't know if I would have had the balls to get in there and usher a possum from under the bed to run away. Hey, can you imagine if Manuel had not been here? Had
Oh my God, it's just you.
Like, it... Oh, yes. Okay.
I'd be freaking... I took shelter on the couch, yet again, like it was Mighty Mouse. I mean, it kind of was Mighty
I didn't even
Mouse.
see how you were doing. You
was-
were just sitting on the couch or standing on it or what?
Yeah, I was, a vertical...
That is. Mm-hmm.
There's a possum under the bed.
Oh my God!
And Sally was in the room with it. You shut her in there.
That's right. I went and shut the door. I was like, well, this is the first thing that came to my mind. Shut the door.
Yeah,
Possum can't go
lock it in.
nowhere.
Can't go
And then you're like, where's Sally? And I was like, I don't know.
Fuck.
And then I opened the door again, and Sally's like creeping towards the door, and her tail's all puffy. I was like, get out. Get out, Sally. Come on.
When her tail gets puffy, I call her Raccoon. I kind of wish she went Raccoon on
My
it.
God. Oh, yeah. So that was a thing. And we had to what did you say? Hockey the possum out of the house. We had closed several doors, and it's like, this is the general path that it needs to take. We had brooms, and you had a mop. And so our landlord was pushing it out from under the bed. It came towards the entrance of the room, and then me and you had to like, nope, you're going to turn
This
here.
way, this way.
Go out the front door. And it just kind of like waddled its way out of here.
That's what I pictured it doing after Sarah was like, we don't want you here. You were not welcome. Can you imagine it waddling out? Fine, I'm out.
It was like, okay.
And then when it was all done, Sarah was like, it kind of looked cute.
I forget how cute they look. I keep thinking of an armadillo for whatever reason.
Oh,
They are
yeah.
not cute.
And they got little stubby... Okay. Well, before all of that happened, what were we talking about?
Sonic? Knuckles?
Was I
you
talking
and
about Jaws?
We had already jumped into Jaws.
Jumped
That's
into
right.
Jaws. Okay. Okay, Jaws 2 is just eh. Sheriff Brody, he kills the shark because he makes the shark bite into an electrical cable that was underwater.
Remind me, Jaws 1 ends up with they capture the shark, they shoo away the shark, or what?
No, they don't catch that shark.
They kill it
They kill it.
in the first one.
Yeah.
And so then on the second one, it's not the same shark, but
No.
it is a shark.
It is, yeah. It is another great white, but it has a scar on its face. So it's like reasonable doubt, like, is this the shark from the first one? But it can't be because they blew its head off.
Blew it up.
Yeah, they blew the head off of the thing. So then when this one, goes to attack Sheriff Brody, he has flashbacks from when he killed the last one, and it bit into this power cable it was a large wire that was to a lighthouse. Or whatever.
Okay, but nobody gets hurt, like survives it, and then comes back on the second one's like, lit this one. I'll take care of this one.
In the third one, it is another one of Brody's children that now work at SeaWorld.
Okay.
And this one features yet another great white shark that just kind of goes into the lagoon area of what SeaWorld has been building. They built this underwater theme park and all that jazz. And Jaws 3 is also in 3D, so it's real gimmicky. It was done in the era where, we're going to push these things in your face, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not
Really?
watching it in 3D, it comes off really corny. And that's what this one was littered with. And when they blew up the shark, they killed this one. They stuck a grenade in its mouth and it blew up.
In the first one, we blew up the head of one.
Yeah.
In the second one, how did it die?
It bit into a cable and got electrocuted, burst in the flames, and died.
Like a robot. And then the third one, what happened?
There was a grenade, and they blew its head up.
Okay.
But when this one blew up, you could see like all the pieces come towards the camera, and it was like, "Ooh, look at all that!" Blah, blah, blah. And then in the fourth one, Sheriff Brody has since died, and he died off screen in between sequels. And one of the
wanted more
openings,
money.
one of the opening scenes is one of Brody's oldest sons. He gets attacked by the shark. In like a little, he goes out to like where a little buoy is, and he's trying to unhook something or whatever. And then there's a great white, and it bit its arm off. And he was like, "Oh my god, my arm!" Blah, blah, blah.
And it's not in outer space.
No, it's
That's
not
what
in
I was
outer
in the
space.
wait for. Not in the hood, not in space.
The small town of Amity. And
Amity?
Amity.
yeah, it had been a long time since I'd seen this movie, and I remembered
Amityville.
where I had seen this clip of this guy wearing a yellow raincoat who was a cop on a little boat, and he gets his arm bit off. I was a chubby little fat kid, and we lived in my old childhood home, and our next door neighbor had a daughter and some nieces, right? So I would frequently go over there and hang out with them because they had a Sega Genesis. And the more I think about this, I'm thinking that my old neighbor Charlie was a horror hound, because it seemed that every time I wandered into his house, there was a horror movie on, because I got messed up several times at his house, stumbling into stuff that I should not have seen. And one of those was watching a man get his arm bit off by a giant shark, and it just messed me up as a kid. I wasn't supposed to see this. And I remember walking through the living room, and I'm like, oh, what are you watching? And he goes, oh, it's a movie with a shark. And I look at it, and it just bit his arm off, and I was like, and he goes, oh, you weren't supposed to see that.
Hey, get out of here.
And as I'm like being ushered out of the room, I'm listening to this man panic, and he's like, oh my God, somebody help me, my arm, help me. And I'm just, traumatized.
And so we can physically see your innocence leaving.
Yeah. And, instead of doing the responsible thing of stopping the movie, no, let's usher the child out as I'm craning my neck to see what I'm not supposed to see. Oh, God. It was also at this man's house that I stumbled into Predator 2, and it was the sex scene. The lady was like having sex with a guy, and I was like, what is this? And I was later told it was Predator 2, and I was like, there's a Predator 2? Because I'd seen the first one, and, so I was like, what? The first Predator didn't have boobies? What is this? Yeah, it was pretty, yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4...
Oh, in part 4, the shark gets killed. There's they actually spear the shark with like the end of a boat. There's like this large, piece of wood that juts out, and it sticks it through the neck.
And that's how it dies? Or the boat comes to like a halt and like it tears its brains out?
Well, it's kind of
depending. People that protect sharks? Is there a shark protection like group that we're
I would
offending?
imagine so, but when the motherfucker's eating people, you got to take it out. There's no turning back. Like, it sees red.
Okay.
Depending on which version of this movie you see, either the head blows up or you see the piece of wood go through the neck, and the shark just kind of gets stuck on the boat and then falls off and dies. The version that I have, they pierce it with the thing and his head blows up for no reason.
That's Michael Bay was actually executive producer. So
yeah, it was a young Michael Bay fresh out of college.
He's like, what if we blow the shark up? Michael, we're going to do it. We've got approval for it, but you got to shut up for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. When I was looking at these movies, I went and pulled up an IMDb because I was curious about a guy that was in Jaws 3. Mm-hmm. I had wondered if he had done a bit on Sesame Street. I was wrong. He did not. But when I looked up Jaws 3, it brought up, on IMDb, it shows up everything that has Jaws in it. There was a movie in 1995 called Cruel Jaws, and it wanted so badly to be the non-official part 5 of the series. And when I looked into it, I learned that it is a movie about a tiger shark bred by the Navy and is killing and wreaking havoc in a small town of Hampton Bay. In the meantime, the mafia is involved with the real estate investments and threaten those who plan to bring them down. A SeaWorld owner, Dag, and his dolphins come in and save the small town from the mob and the military covert operatives, and they kill the shark. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So then I, of course, went on YouTube and found somebody who had watched this movie, and I watched about 18 minutes of it condensed down.
Yeah.
And it was fucking terrible. And it was made for TV in 1995. And then I knew about a Japanese movie called Psycho Shark. This was in 2009. I knew that it was originally called Jaws in Japan, but then Universal stepped in and was like, no, you're not going to call it Jaws in Japan. This is a big shark off of a tropical island where Miki and Mai arrive and are unable to find a hotel. These two little Japanese girls stay at some place where they actually give handheld recorders to their guests for you to make memories. They're like, oh yeah, go record yourself, blah, blah, blah. And so like, I went and found someone on YouTube who had watched it and condensed it down. And it is mostly you watching found footage of these girls watching clips of themselves on the TV of what they just recorded. And then underneath the table, they find another video cassette and then they put it in and it hints that there's a serial killer around. And they're just like, oh, we got to try to find out what's the truth in all this. And they find more videotapes and there's no shark. Like the movie is 67 minutes. The shark doesn't show up for 63 of those minutes. So like literally in the final 5 minutes, there's a shark. and it is a giant megalodon-like type of shark that eats a guy who's about to kill one of the girls, but it's like a metaphor type thing. Right? Like, it's not explained if the shark is real or not, but the serial killer does not kill the girls, but it's also left vague if the serial killer was even caught by the authorities. So that was Jaws in Japan, and there's really no reason for it to be called Psycho Shark.
That was Psycho Shark.
That was Psycho Shark. Like 63 minutes of it
The
does
shark
not have a
you
shark.
saw could possibly even be like B-roll footage, or what is it?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I guess that's what you get. So yeah, they're both terrible. They're not official Jaws sequels. I don't know if they're ever going to do another Jaws movie. But yeah, if you ever think about going past Jaws 1, I guess you could do Jaws 2. Don't go any farther than that, especially if you like Sheriff Brody, because for him to die in between sequels and the excuse they gave is he died out of fear, that doesn't sit well with me.
He definitely wanted more money.
He died out of fear. Can you imagine being scared of a shark so much that in your later years you just die because you're afraid it's going to come after you and your family?
That's ridiculous.
You didn't die when you were on the boat surrounded by it, and you died later after you blew up 2 of them.
Yeah.
You were just like...
You would think the trauma would be gone, right?
Yeah. How would you remedy this situation? If you had to fight off 2 sharks and you're worried for the safety of your family because you live near the water, what is the easiest way to fix this problem?
Move.
That is exactly the... And that idea is even thrown out in Jaws 4, and the mom is like, but this is our home. And I'm like, okay, fine. Then you can continue to live in fear because after your son died and your husband died, you're living in fear now.
She's like, yeah,
The
but
easy
I got
solution is to just move away.
the life insurance money.
Maybe that's what it is. I mean, when you're the sheriff of a small town of Amity,
Amityville?
it's not Amityville.
Amity.
It's just Amity.
Amity.
Yeah.
Amity.
Or you can do like most of the Asian culture and just eat them.
Oh, wow. But then that means you have to catch the damn shark.
Yeah.
And if you need bigger boats.
They do that. 'Cause- so I was trying to remember, is it the Japanese culture or another Asian country that either, how they say it?
Japanese
They-
pseudo?
Como
They don't-
se dice?
Yeah. Coincidence.
On one of your remembers, it sounded like you said member, and I was like, did she just say I remember? It sounded like she said I remember, and I was like, oh my god.
Like they'll eat what can kill them.
Oh, God.
So, but then I also heard that they eat dolphins.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm thinking dolphins don't fucking kill you. I
Yeah,
mean, they will if they are being harmed.
Yeah, but have you ever had dolphin tuna? It's amazing.
You're stupid, honey.
Is that the blue one?
God,
It's just like, it's like,
blue whale.
No.
Tell me to shut up.
Not here. I thought that was inappropriate for Blue Whale to jump in right now.
But I wanted to look it up, and it said shark meat is popular in Asia, where it is often consumed dried, smoked, or salted.
wow.
Shark meat is consumed regularly in Scandinavia, Japan, parts of India, parts of Canada, Sri Lanka, areas of Africa, and Mexico.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they had, well, I guess you could have sharks anywhere. What do I know?
I mean,
So
we have
we're the
sharks.
only ones without universal health care, age of consent of 16, and shark meat.
Yeah.
We're, I guess, behind on the times.
Three
don't eat shark
random ass facts.
Oh, my God.
But we got possums
We definitely do. At home.
at home.
Yeah. There is a movie out there that I do want to watch. It's called Orca the Killer Whale. It is basically Jaws, but it's Orca the Killer Whale.
It's a well.
It's a whale. It's one of those with the curved fin. What are
Uh-huh.
they? Isn't like Shamu?
Free Willy.
Yeah, basically
Willy,
that type
Shamu,
of.
Keiko.
Yeah, the only thing that I remember, if I've even seen this, was a clip of fishermen that may or may not have caught the baby of this killer whale, and
Tortured it.
it was dead. And so they like opened the net and it fell and landed on like the deck of the ship. And the mother whale was like watching, and she watches her baby go, and then she goes, and like
Oh.
that's the movie. If I had seen that as a kid, that might have been the opening scene to Orca. But ever since Jaws, I was like, I've always wondered, I wonder if that movie's any good. I hear it's bad, but it's also kind of expensive on Blu-ray. So
When you were saying earlier, like, what's the easy solution to this? I'm like, just don't get in the water. Like, nothing said. We live by the water.
Yeah.
How often are you at Galveston?
Like, if I had gone to Galveston as a kid and my life had been threatened by a shark,
You never go.
I would just never go back and be like, man, that happened to me. I mean, whew, by the skin of my fat, I got out of there.
Yeah.
Because it looked at me and it saw turkey leg, but it was Nick. So when I got away, I was like, oh, how do
And
you
you
fix the
never-
problem?
you never go
No,
back.
it's all dolphin tuna.
Dolphin tuna. Have you ever had a dolphin taco? It's amazing,
You're
Sarah.
stupid, honey.
Like, where do they serve this? Chili's.
Oh, man. Do you guys want to go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of what we're all here for?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the third time that we go down this rabbit hole. It's about sex. I have a story here about a bill being passed in Alabama that would force men to get a vasectomy. Have you heard about this?
No.
No?
Force them?
Force them
like
to get
by
a
law.
vasectomy. Yeah. An Alabama lawmaker has introduced a bill that would require men to get a vasectomy within the first month of their 50th birthday or after the birth of their third biological child, whichever comes first. State Representative Rolanda Hollis, who is a Democrat, introduced the bill stating, quote, under existing law, there is no restrictions on the reproductive rights for men. Under this new bill, it would require men to adhere to the listing above, and they would also have to pay for this. So it sucks. You turn 50, you got to get it snipped, but it's on your dime too.
I just want to know why.
Hollis stated that this bill is in response to the anti-abortion legislation passed in Alabama. He said, quote, this is to neutralize the abortion ban bill. The responsibility is not always on the woman. It takes two to tango. This will prevent pregnancy and the abortion of unwanted children and help men become accountable as well as women. You don't think about what women have to go through as far as incest and rape, but you want them to carry a child out of rape or incest, so let's neutralize the problem.
Thank you.
So this is to get even.
I
It's not to
guess.
help the problem. It's just to get even.
I guess. Alabama state law bans abortions, and doctors who perform them can face up to 99 years in prison. Okay, so
I'm all for it.
I'm actually really curious as to if you're a family man who has never raped anybody, who has never performed an act of incest
Yet.
Wow. When I turn 50, if I've only bared one child, by law I have to get it snipped. How does
By
that?
the age of 50, you're well grown. You're not going to want any more kids. Forgive me. You probably barely wanted the one you already had. So
I would have had that one at 48.
Right. There's a lot of questions.
There is. There's.
I want to see the stats of how many 50+ men are raping people and
in
are
Alabama.
right and or are having kids and are not going to be around enough to when they're older. I want to see those stats. If 3 of these people are guilty out of 1 million, then does this even make any sense?
It just seems like that number's really high for them to, or whatever number that they have in their back pocket to think this is the answer that we need.
If you
Men
said
need to get it snipped.
the people that are the guys, the men that are raping are the young ones, 28, 25, 21, the ones that are making a mistake. 50, you're life. You either already did it or you're not going to do it.
What if you're like a vagabond and you're just going around and you're just dropping seed everywhere?
No.
You probably have
I said there
7
was
kids,
3
but
of them.
you don't know.
I said there was 3 of them.
There are a lot of cases where the father is raping the daughter.
Yeah.
So
At
the father
50.
could very well be 50.
Okay.
So there is no age limit to that.
The 50-year-old's still going to rape whoever, but they're just not going to.
But is it just only in Alabama?
Okay.
Here we go, here we go.
Whoever, the very few that get punished, so it's kind of like a work environment. Or
Okay.
Maybe at least for mine. The few that cause the issue, the best way to just solve the problem is to discipline everyone. So even if you're not guilty, you're a part of the you're unfortunately a part of the problem to help resolve it. So I'm completely all for this. So fuck those guys. Snip their balls off.
So I wonder what the numbers are versus all the other states. Is Texas far behind or something? I don't know.
Far behind on doing something like that, or at least proposing it. Is that what you mean?
Well, to be
Maybe.
fair, that was a Democrat. It might be a Democratic state now, whereas we're Republican. We're never going to get there.
We stand solidly behind the Hugh Hefner Act of '87.
Ew.
And they're like, I'll allow it.
Ew.
The Hefner Act.
I'm shaking my head, but I feel like that's kind of that's not real, right?
No, it's not real. I
obviously.
just made it up. But it sounds real.
But it sounds real.
The Hefner Act of '87.
Texas versus heaven.
The next thing that I have on the docket here is called the blowjob paper. Scientists processed 109 hours of oral sex to develop an AI that gives fellatio.
Is this the one we were talking about last week?
Yeah, I had said this is something that I want to talk about. So then, okay, excuse me if it is a little long. I have condensed it, but like the more I went down this rabbit hole, the more fascinating it became.
Please excuse me, Mom. Please don't listen to this.
Any mom.
Stop right now.
Any mom
No, more-
get forward to.
Be more specific, my mom.
Do you want me to replace blank with fellatio?
No, I'm just going to tell her not to listen to it. But
Oh,
if she
okay.
decides not to, I'm telling her right now, don't listen.
But it might be fascinating. It's like, oh, a lot of thought went into this.
No.
Okay.
But all of our listeners all around the world. Remember how many we had in France and
Yeah. I was like, wow, okay. Maybe someone is like translating in different languages and just...
were there any Asian like hardcore like Japanese? No, right? Or Korean? No, I
don't
can't
think so.
remember. But yeah,
I don't
y'all
know.
can keep listening.
The AutoBlow AI is a sex toy made for those with penises that has a rubbery sleeve and a motor housed inside a canister that aims to stimulate oral sex or simulate oral sex. It launched an Indiegogo campaign back in October, and it quickly reached its goal of $50,000. Its biggest advantage over the original model back in 2014 was that the AutoBlow 2 is a machine learning algorithm that continually changes techniques in order to pleasure the user in exciting ways. We've had a long night, all right? We had a possum attack that we thought was a ghost.
That was a legit demon, which I guess it is.
Yeah. This machine, instead of being repetitive mechanical motions, this AI replicates the unpredictable motions of a real human giving fellatio. To do this, the company had a team of 6 who watched and analyzed 109 hours of porn, which was 1,200 oral sex clips, and hired machine learning engineers to create a model to take all of the data and translate it into what the toy does. This whole process took 3 years. So let that sink in for a bit. You get commissioned to come up with this thing. You have to watch 109 hours of porn, analyze it, process it into something that can write up algorithms to make this thing do what you want it to do, and it took 3 years of your life.
Are you watching by yourself, or is like you have to do everything with your team? You know, your team of experts.
I would like to think that scientists are professional, and they cover all the bases, so they do everything together. Right?
Everybody's an adult, you know, but if it's a team, that means you guys all just saw somebody rock solid for I don't know how many hours, you know. You said how many hours?
I believe it was 12. Oh, it's 109 hours.
And I'm sure they did circumcised, uncircumcised, long, small, short, big, tall, like, you know, so.
For sure.
And then you have to watch the mouth movements in order to.
You got to do controlled. All variables have to be accounted for when doing things scientific.
But I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are scientists boring in bed?
Not after those hours. Although,
They're over there taking notes, and then they have like a secondary notepad for their personal log, and they're just like, okay.
If they're not sucking dick, they're at least coaching you through it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was asking Nick that the other day, I guess, when he was doing his little research or whatever. I said, do you think scientists are boring in bed just because they're such logical thinkers? That they are logically thinking on how to do things?
And
this
what
is very naive of me
And
to
what
ask.
is like the most motor efficient way to
conceive?
But like, you know, I don't want to exert myself or hurt my lower back, so I'm going to do this technique because scientifically it works.
Maybe.
If I lay half on the bed, half not on the bed, and you're in this position, it should be fine. It almost happens naturally.
But if you want something more pleasurable for you and I have to sacrifice a little bit of my pleasure, we can also do that, but it can only be for a maximum of about 7.5 minutes.
Word.
Like, yeah, they call it reverse cowboy bit.
The results of all this research was the blowjob paper, and it was a study full of sexually themed algorithm research. They said, quote, "In this work, we seek to quantify the common or typical movements involved in oral sex performed to males. To do so, we analyzed and data set hours of pornographic video, annotated at each frame with the position of the lips along the shaft of the penis. We used quantization techniques to discover 16 distinct motions. And using these motions, we designed a system that procedurally generates realistic movements using deep learning." So, So did you guys understand any of that?
I did. So, okay. Then,
They not only had to go through all this video footage of 109 hours, but they had to go frame by frame.
that's what I mean. So you said the shaft, so you got all up in,
Yeah.
you have to mimic what her tongue is doing, and then there's no mention of the balls, but come on.
You can't just leave something like that hanging.
Right.
Ew.
Ew.
They're already hanging the whole day. You can't forget them then.
Balls need love too, Craig. Brian Sloan, who was the creator of the Auto Blow, was asked how he recruited serious scientists to work on the jerk-off machine. He said, quote, "I told them to make a sex toy for men focusing on recreating the blowjob experience and asked if they could use AI to study what really happens during a blowjob. It was enough to cause 7 companies to immediately pass on the request. When I asked why they did not want to talk about it."
Just say it's out of curiosity. It's okay. We're all adults
But they were
here.
serious scientists.
But we're adults here.
$1 billion.
They're like,
industry.
I helped put I helped put the Mars rover on Mars. And you want me to make what? I'm building a blowjob machine. Well, when you say it like that.
I mean, okay.
Okay. Am I going to get paid?
Everything that goes into that, keeping it clean, because do you pull out before? Because they're like, we recommend that you pull out. We don't want you to go in the thing.
I mean, but there's still residue in there.
So right. So then you have to put it through the dishwasher, or
You know what? I don't know. Out of everything
Like,
that I
does it
looked
keep
at,
going during completion, or does it stop?
you tap it and it stops.
you won. Checkmate.
Yeah.
You can stop.
You stop
I
at
don't
this
know.
point.
Out of everything that I read going down this rabbit hole, maintaining it and keeping it clean was not something that came up.
Yeah, or the shake machine. Remember how
Yeah, there you go,
complicated
yeah.
that was?
Perfect analogy.
You had to lube the little things, the little gears, put them in, make sure that, because you can't mix it in with the shake stuff, you know, because that's where the shake stuff is.
Yeah,
you
gotta
eat that.
Yeah, you got to lube everything because you don't want something sharp coming near your naughty bits.
The other thing is is that going to be cleaner than a mouth? And then because a mouth right now that's what it's acceptable. It feels good. It's warm. It's it's juicy. I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but what I'm getting at is the mouth is not really that clean unless even when you do you brush your teeth right before you blow somebody? No, not really. You just blow somebody. So, but there's a lot of bacteria, and if you have cavities or like all of that is on your junk.
Huh.
But it's already junk on junk. So is it now junk on junk? Is what I'm saying.
Sarah, how would you tackle that question?
We're all filthy.
I never even
Speechless.
thought of any of those things that you brought up.
Okay, so but nothing happens, right? Like it's not like, oh, your mouth. I got blown by this woman, and then her mouth was
she
so
was
dirty.
filthy.
I had to clean and I had because I got a rash, or I broke out because of.
I don't think that they replicated that level of decay.
No,
of the mouth
not to
or whatever.
replicate it. This is why this machine would be better.
Oh yeah, I mean it's safe. It's totally safe. It's a blowjob machine,
Right.
obviously.
Because that's what I'm saying. Because no human's always like, okay, well, I'm about to blow someone's dick, and so I'm
Yeah.
gonna go clean my mouth.
Yeah, no, I don't, because then you lose it in the moment.
Well,
I mean, unless you want that minty flavor.
right, but then
That is true.
does that burn like the minty?
Having the minty thing, no, I'd imagine it feels
I
like,
feel like
cool
I've had
and
one
stuff.
time. Anyway.
It'd feel like winter fresh, like the
On your dick?
like the Alaskan slopes.
Well, on Adam and Eve, they actually sell like mint.
Condoms too.
Well, no, they actually have mint capsules like for the girl.
Yeah,
So I guess it does help numb. So
That is
she,
true.
She can perform better,
yeah.
and it probably feels good for the guy because it's tingly and such.
It feels like the Alaskan Alps
On your dick.
on your dick.
And that's supposed
I mean,
to
it's
feel
not
good.
cold. It just feels good.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the Alaskan Alps?
No.
Neither of you.
Well, neither have I, but I'd imagine it feels great.
You're like, no, but
So-
that pill we bought the other day, it was
So
great.
if I went to the Alaskan Alps and I was just like,
No,
Sarah,
you'll be inverted.
I'd be like, Sarah, this is incredible. And then I just open my fly and you're just like, Nick, what are you doing? Exposing yourself like this. I'm like, I just wanted to feel the Alaskan Alps on my dick. And now that
And where is it?
I have that on my bucket list, bam, back in the pants because it's
so,
cold.
Yeah, it's so cold, it's like barely poking out. Oh my gosh.
It needs to be said that when the 7 teams passed on this project, the 8th team said yes, and they produced the blowjob papers, which Sloan then paid $30,000 For all the hard work that was put into this machine, not one of those scientists put their name on the paper. They all did the work anonymously, but they got paid for it. And they did it anonymously because they feared that their other bigger clients would drop them if they heard that they were associated with a sex toy. The paper then begins with a few charts and graphs. Among the clustered charts that represent activities, including pauses, edging, which is the act of pleasuring someone to the very verge of climax, shallow tip play, and deep throating. They designed a dense neural network, which is DNN for short, that predicts the blowjob giver's next move based on past movements, similar to that predictive text on your phone.
So it learns.
Kinda. Like, you'll never just hit the same repetitive motion. They're like, let's change it up because that's how people actually are. You know,
like a boxer, it doesn't always jab. Sometimes there's an uppercut, sometimes there's a left, and there's a right, and back to the uppercut.
A way that they were able to figure this sort of thing out, and it was kind of fascinating how they figured it, but it was also kind of silly, was they had a thing called a slider man. So what they were doing is, as they were watching clips, and they had this algorithm written to generate different movements based on past movements, is basically, this was how I interpreted it. Someone was watching clips and they had a little slider that can go left or right on their screen, and they had a mouse or something, and they would click it and they would drag it left or right in correlation to what they were watching on the frame. So like if the woman was just kind of fiddling with the tip, they would go to the tip and they would just kind of wiggle it. And then if she did something extreme, like go all the way down, they would move the slider, and that's how they would generate, okay, so for this clip, these are all the movements. And then you just kind of look at a bunch of waves. And they're like, now this clip does this. So if you merge these two things together, what are the similarities of these clips? And so that's how you generate something new. Take two clips, lay them on top of each other, come up with something, and you do that over and over again. And that's how you're able to create a total original thing based on what you've seen in real life.
So, and then I wonder if the machine keeps track of like,
oh yeah,
it tries to beat its own score, because if the one giving the blowjob is good, they'll
Well, I think there's only one machine. I mean, they could have built another one, but this is the Auto Blow 2. There was one in 2014, but this one's better.
This is the 2.0.
Yeah.
So then, who practiced on it? Who did they watch, or was it like go into this room and let us know?
It was just the clips that they were watching. So
no. Once you
when it's finished, yeah, you got to test it, right?
Right. Who tested?
I don't know who tested
Did they test it? Like, I guess. And but now my peers have to watch me get my dick sucked.
There's a lot of learning. You're like, now I know you more than I've ever known anyone before.
Right. And I just met you 3 weeks ago. Or wait, how many hours in? Yeah.
When one of the scientists was asked if the work was tedious, you said, quote, "To be honest, we were lucky and unlucky. A few videos at the beginning of the project were interesting to watch. In the end, it was quite heavy to watch because there was so much oral sex. Obviously, people want these things, and they will get smarter as scientists and engineers do their job better. Perhaps someday we can emulate more than just blowjobs. We found that recognizing anal, for example, is totally doable."
No. What do you mean?
Okay, so if they made an anal machine that basically did the same thing as the BJ machine, all you would have to do is just kind of lay there
in the anus
and take it, and it's just,
I need you to be specific here. You keep saying take it. Are you getting fucked?
Yeah, you're the one taking it. Yeah.
Oh,
you're not gonna fuck the machine. I mean, you could fuck the machine, but
I'm
you
like,
could fuck anything
that already
if you wanted.
exists, right? That was like the fleshlight.
Me and Sarah talked about this a little bit last night. Like, if you put your mind to it, you could literally fuck anything you want.
Well, I remember many years ago, they've already made a penetration machine. It looked like just a simple, thing. And it was doing the woman.
That's
so
right.
Just reverse it and take it to the back. Like it's already been done.
Well, yeah, but, okay. Years back, I don't even know where I was, where I saw a clip of a woman taking it from a machine that was doing her. And it was like a dildo attached to a long rod. And so the camera panned to the left, and it was literally attached to a KitchenAid. KitchenAid was doing its thing, mixing, and they had this little adapter, and it was going in and out from the lady. And I was like, wow, this is what people do with their spare time. I'm going to use the KitchenAid because I need to get food. So now it's basically the same thing, only far more advanced. This is like the Rolls Royce of a fuck machine. And the KitchenAid is like, a jalopy from 1987. That's what it is.
Have you and I ever watched porn together?
Have me and you ever watched porn together? Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
Not like once at David's or something?
No. I was.
Why does that sound right?
I was accused of watching porn at David's, but we weren't watching porn. I was at his place and we were watching a WCW pay-per-view through a fuzzy screen, and that it looks like porn because you're not seeing the thing, but we were listening to the commentary.
Who accused you?
I want to say his brother or maybe his mother.
Andy?
That, like, someone walked in and they're like, "What the fuck are y'all watching?" And we were like, "Wrestling," and they're like, "Oh yeah, bullshit," and they just kind of left. And it's like, but we really are watching wrestling, or listening rather. Thank goodness for color commentary. That's how we knew what was going on.
Because if you listen to our tapes and not watch them, you're listening to something else.
that is true. Okay, Sarah. I'm sorry for that disruption.
Let's go and talk about sexomnia.
Woo! Have you ever heard about this? Okay.
I heard about it on the radio.
Really?
Yeah. I heard about it on the radio.
Huh. Okay.
So experts say sexomnia is a kind of parasomnia, that's in quotes, an abnormal behavior which is exhibited while someone is in a deep sleep. So it's like sleepwalking and night terrors, and that those who do it typically can't remember their actions.
Okay.
Which I do remember Madison told me that she used to sleepwalk.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess someone just had to tell her that she did it because she doesn't remember doing it. That's creepy.
Has she ever sleptwalked with you? No?
Not that I know of, but most of the nights I am up, so I would know if she did. However, sometimes I do think of walking into the room and like her like just standing up. Just standing there. That would be creepy.
That would be creepy.
But it has not happened.
Okay. Yeah, Sarah, if you were dormant and you had no idea that you sleptwalked, and then I walked in a room and you were sleepwalking, I'd freak out.
Yeah.
Sleepwalking or just standing there, like looking at the corner.
Oh my God. I don't know.
Anyway.
Damn it.
During an episode, someone with sexomnia might touch themselves while asleep or try to have sex with someone near them. Anecdotally, there are reports the person is more uninhibited and sexually insistent than they are when awake. So they're a little more bold when they don't even know that they're doing it. And it's not great sex. More automated and robotic, experts say.
And their eyes are closed the whole time, right? Because
Yeah.
they're asleep. Because they're just like...
You're kind of awake. I feel like you're kind of awake, but you do become more
There's a
bold.
whole lot
It's
of grunt,
dark. It's
weird
whatever.
grunting and...
Now, in this article, they were talking about a lot of rape cases.
Yeah.
So, pardon me, I skipped over those.
Okay.
Because in the UK, I read there were 15 or 50. I can't remember. There's a 5 in there. There's a lot of cases where that was their defense, was that they had sexomnia.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But it started off with a woman. It was a wife and husband. She was saying that he was having sex with her and she wasn't willing, but that it was totally just...
Oh, man.
It was very empty and quiet, she said.
Okay.
But anyway.
So did he have sex with her? Or did he? Okay.
He had sex with her.
Because I was starting to think, was it like a Grace and Frankie type thing where that guy thought he was having sex with a girl, but he was only having sex with the couch? She's like, I knew he was asleep and I knew he wanted to have sex with me, so I just kind of like pivoted and he fucked the pillow.
Wow.
Wow.
He didn't lose his virginity to her. He lost his virginity to a couch. So, but this one I did copy. In one BBC article, a woman recalled 2 incidences with a man who unknowingly had sexomnia and thus didn't remember either encounter. One night, he began thrusting at her groin in a crude, unsensual kind of way. During a later episode, he tried having penetrative sex through her underwear.
Oh.
She considered leaving him, but then started asking some questions, genuinely puzzled by the out-of-character behavior he told her he had no memory of. A sleep clinic ultimately revealed he had sexomnia. So the poor guy genuinely had no idea. He felt bad that he was even doing this.
Yeah.
So then he got diagnosed for it.
When it's all said and done, he's like, but you liked it, right? You liked it, right?
Sexomnia is quite rare compared to conditions like sleepwalking. Sleepwalking affects about 1 in 25 kids, but 66% of them grow out of it.
Sexsomnia, most often experienced by males, is much less common. This is a quote. People who suffer from sexsomnia are those who have an extended history of sleepwalking or other unusual sleep behaviors. But they continue, the person isn't actually having sexual dreams, they're just acting automatically, he said. It's a real condition where someone can have sex without realizing or wanting it and not remembering anything. That's awful.
So it's not just men that can have this. Women can have it too.
It is mostly by men, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see it.
The idea that sexsomniacs are sleepwalking their way, zombie-like, to have their way is far-fetched. Apparently, it's all about proximity. Quote, it's not likely that the person will wander out of their bed to have sex, Professor Kennedy said. I guess that's who said it earlier. It's more likely that when they're lying in bed with somebody, they'll have a sexsomnia episode and have sex in their sleep. So it's unfortunate to their loved one who's sleeping next to them.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, it's right there.
This is right there.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bit insensitive. I didn't mean that. While the cause of sexsomnia is still unknown and the episodes are considered random, researchers think that people are triggered into them when there's a disruption in the brain as it moves between deep sleep cycles. It's also thought sleep deprivation, alcohol consumption, or sleeping pills like Ambien increase someone's likelihood of experiencing sexsomnia. Treatments can include medication to improve sleep, counseling, or avoiding triggers like alcohol and sleeping pills. So, Nick had asked me if there's a fetish for everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, he thought maybe there's a fetish to the sound of high heels and the clicking and stuff. Now, forgive me, I didn't get to that. So,
Okay. All right, you're off the show.
Thanks. I can go to bed early. I'm just kidding.
Like, I don't do.
But I'm always more curious about the background of when styles like this start. So in the 17th century, Northern Europe, only men wore high heels. So I even told Nick this the other night. I said men wore heels and makeup and wigs.
Yeah.
And then little boys wore dresses.
And like men used to wear stockings like in the old George Washington days.
In America?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
George Washington.
I'm just kidding.
I thought you were serious. I was like, no, man. There's George Washington. Like he wore all that stuff. He maybe didn't wear the makeup, but he wore like everything else.
But not heels like we know them today.
No, what did you call them? Not platforms.
You mean a wedge?
There you go. That.
No.
Isn't that what they used to wear? The
No,
men?
wedge is a whole solid bottom. That's a heel. If that makes
Oh,
sense.
okay,
No,
it
a
wasn't
heel
that.
is just a heel.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that was a heel. Okay, I'm crazy. Continue.
The first woman to try them out were actually going for a masculine look. So this is the 1600s.
Oh, okay.
So Elizabeth Semmelhack, senior curator at the Beta Shoe Museum in Toronto, Canada, uncovered the history of the high heel after she organized an exhibition around Chinese foot binding and realized that many visitors were fascinated by this unfamiliar practice, but incurious about how women came to wear high-heeled shoes. Semmelhack traced the heel to 10th century Persian men, so this is the 900s now.
Yeah.
Soldiers who wore them while riding on horseback. Heels helped them stay in their stirrups, which makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
So now, because now cowboy boots, they have the little bitty heel, but they have the spurs on them.
Yeah.
So I
was
guess
just, let's say, like cowboys.
Yeah, cowboys.
Only back in those days, they were just like more defined, so they could just stay in those little notches, those grooves, and what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men in England and Holland would have become acquainted with this look by the mid-16th century when they traded textiles in what by then had become the Iranian Empire and would have encountered the empire's large mountain military. So they've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Them Persians. And so by the 17th century, aristocrat European men were also wearing heels. Some European women started to wear hats with large plumes. Stumakers? I think that's the word, stumakers.
Stewmongers.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I've heard it before.
Yeah, decorative triangle panels on the front of women's gowns
Okay.
that looked like doublets.
And around 1620, a few were even accused of carrying weapons in a bid to look more masculine. Quote, it was seen as both fashionable and daring, says Semmelhack. Though, of course, they faced ridicule from some corners. Quote, there's been no time in history when women haven't been criticized for what they wear, and this is no exception. We want to be equal, damn it.
Yeah.
For a few years, though, both men and women wore high heels in Europe. But by the end of the 17th century, Enlightenment ideas put an end to such androgynous styles. This philosophy emphasized rationality and practicality, but as distinctly male traits. Women, meanwhile, were seen as emotional, irrational, and distinct from men. Under the influence of Enlightenment thinking, gender rather than class became the main way of dividing society. So, unfortunately, that's how people still think of women.
So at one point, men and women were more or less equal, dressing
For a little bit.
for similar things. And then I guess it was like if you were higher class, you wore heels, lower class, you didn't.
Right.
And then at some point, it was deemed unmasculine to wear heels. So that's why men stopped doing it and women kept it for their, what is it, emotional and unrational something or other. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now men are superior to women. And that's just
They moved to flat shoes.
And that's how that,
Yeah.
wow.
We don't need the flat shoes. I mean, we don't need the heels. We just need flat shoes.
I guess, yeah. It's basically what I've inferred from what you just told me.
The heels are for the frosted Cheerios.
Wow. So high heels, less practical than flat-heeled shoes for anyone not on horseback, soon became associated with supposedly female traits of frivolity and irrationality. By the 19th century in Europe, the heel was, we'll just say it was feminine.
Okay.
I can't read that word. Then European imperialism spread this idea around the world. Quote, once European men abandoned the heel in the early 18th century, the meaning becomes so feminized that as imperialism goes global, those are the meanings that are brought with the high heel. So there you have it.
Well, there you go.
There you go, guys.
The history of the high heel.
Yeah. Do you
Started
have
a while
fetish
back.
for that?
Nope.
Huh?
I'm asking the general public.
Oh,
Do you have a fetish for high heels?
I don't.
I do like the sound. I've always liked that little... I don't know what it is, but I was just like, that's a very... I don't know. It's a very attention-catching sound.
Have you ever worn heels?
I don't think so.
I've always wondered what it would be like to wear the stiletto, like the long ones, like because that you are looking.
You're
your
basically walking on your tippity toes.
foot. Well, not really, because you can put weight, and nothing's
That is true.
stopping.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Don't
we
let
have
them trick you.
Luckily, we have a woman right here, Sarah. What can you explain the science of a high heel? Like, it hurts, right?
Thanks for clarifying that I'm a woman right here.
Okay. just wanted
What
to-
kind of woman right here?
Okay, so it hurts because it's
It's
not
terrible for our posture because our ankle is not supposed to be bent forward like that or curved forward.
really.
And it's
It's-
forced.
Yeah, it's forced.
Okay.
So it's terrible for our low back and
That's
Everything-
right. You're a massage therapist, so you wouldn't understand if this is like this, it causes this.
yeah,
You know, the backbone's connected to the knee bone and blah, blah, blah. It disrupts
and so
this.
forth. Yeah,
Did you almost sing that?
Maybe.
he did.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like pizza feet heels. So the ones with the point.
Pizza feet?
Yeah, they're pizza feet. I hate them. And I had an ex that made me buy a pair of boots because he liked them.
Okay.
And I only liked them because they had the red sole on the bottom. Like fake Louboutin. But
Okay.
or Louboutin, excuse me.
Where do you wear that? To just the club, or like? Where
I
do
did
you,
wear them to the club.
Where do you wear that? Like,
But I mean, they were dressy, so you can wear them to work, you can wear them to a party or
red
whatever.
like that?
Well, on the bottom,
Oh, okay. I mean,
they were black.
okay.
But anyway, so I hate pizza feet.
Why is it called pizza feet? Oh, because it looks like a slice
Yeah.
of pizza. I'm dumb.
God,
wow.
honey, I said a point.
Yeah,
So-
but I was like, okay, I understand. Like they're pointed heels,
she's
but you're calling them
explaining
pizza
it
feet.
to you, and you're not listening.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
So you actually have to get half a size or a size larger just so your feet fit.
okay.
And with heels, if you don't get the right size and they're so tight, your toes can actually get fucked up like a ballerina.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was wondering. Like,
Yeah.
because you're walking on your tippity toes because your heel is elevated.
So they're like,
So like your foot tends to like slide forward, and because the heel comes to a point, it could squeeze, right?
I mean, over time, but women do have smaller feet. Well, at least smaller than me. How big are your feet?
Smaller than yours.
So you would be a woman's size compared to mine.
I don't know, maybe, I guess.
well, Nick did try on a pair of my shoes.
If you
Okay.
bought a pair of woman's heels, man, that's a lot of woman.
They'd have to still be massive. Massive.
The guy, you place the order online, and the person who has to box it, they're like, "Oh, that's a hell of a woman."
Sir, I need to know how much you weigh because we keep getting returns from different senders and they have the same email. So, how much do you weigh? Because if depending on that, we have to send steel stilettos.
Whoa.
We're done with the returns.
I bought a pair of shoes when we were in Austin.
Are you sweating, Nick? No, I'm just kidding.
And
no.
they're a new type of heel for me.
Okay.
I call them my Lady Gaga shoes because they're like the devil hoof. So they have no heel. They have all sole.
That's right. I remember
And I'm
seeing
6 inches taller. I love it.
I remember seeing these shoes, and I was just blown away. I was like, I don't understand the science of how this is supposed to work.
It works.
And then, like, she put them on, and I was like, it's fucking working. And I don't know how, and it's blowing my mind.
Well, you see some guys now doing either TikTok videos or any type of video where they're wearing heels and they're doing backflips and doing like all sorts of acrobatic things on heels.
Yeah.
So now that we're getting back to our roots, would you wear heels?
I don't know.
I see him in. So something also like what I have, very thick soles and a very thick heel. If men were to turn this around, even straight men,
Yeah.
to wear heels, I see you in something like that because that'll better keep your balance.
Yeah, I don't know if I
Because
could
goodness
balance.
forbid if you try to walk on a skinny little stiletto heel.
That ain't gonna happen. That some bitch would have to be at least as wide as a quarter.
Like I said, we're getting back to the steel.
Yeah.
Steel
Or what did you call them? Lifts? Or
Wedge.
whatever? Wedge. Or it would be like that.
But you still risk rolling your ankle. no
Oh
matter
God!
what you
See,
wear.
that's another thing. I can't even like walk across the goddamn living room without tripping over something.
That was partly my fault. Calm down.
I'm gonna hang that over her head for years. I was
I'm
like,
trying
"You
to collect the policy.
al-" I'm like, you almost killed me. You know that? She's like,
I'm trying to collect.
she's like, I'm with you for your money, and I'm like,
He's like, fuck. I just
I'm
checked
like,
his pulse.
I know she grabs my hand, and I'm like, Sarah, did you just check my pulse? Yes. I'm laughing next to you.
Talking to him. She's like, yeah.
No,
but-
honey, I'm feeling your heart rate. I'm trying to see how excited you are.
Here, have this stick of butter.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go. Manuel, were you able to find anything to discuss about sex?
Well, it was funny because I was listening to a podcast that they were talking about not eating ass. Well, no, they did mention eating.
Whoa.
No, that's not what the podcast is about. Corinna Komp was on, and she was talking about
they like
the
to
one
eat.
time
Yeah.
that she did. She was like, well, you know, I was eating his ass, and then they were all like frozen. We're like, wait, what are you talking about? She's like, would you ever let a woman eat your ass? And they're talking to a guy, and the guy was like, no. Knowing the stuff that comes out of me, no, I would never subject someone to that. And so then she mentioned a blumpkin. Do you guys know what a blumpkin is?
No.
Which led me to like, okay, maybe what I should talk about is all of the new nicknames that the boys and girls are talking about and the stuff that they do and what they mean today.
No, I've when you said Blumpkin, I don't know why
I
I
do not
thought.
want to hear these kids leaving school, walking in front of our house, talking about Blumpkin.
Yeah.
When I find out what that is. If I hear that, I'm going to go fucking smack them.
Corinna said she had given a blumpkin to somebody, which means getting a blowjob while taking a crap. And so immediately they're like, what about the smell? And they're like, it didn't smell. Like if it smelled bad, I guess I'd stop. But so that means someone's rock solid, bro. So
Yeah.
you're sitting
They
down.
can't wait.
You're pushing and getting blowed.
Wait.
Talk about aiming to please.
Wait, are we talking about like the person giving it pooping?
No,
And you're just standing there,
no,
or you're the
pooping,
one.
You're pooping and getting blowed.
So the
Okay.
guy gets spoiled no matter what.
Yeah, you're having, you're releasing.
The only thing
both
that can make
ways.
this better is if they're eating a sandwich at the same time.
You do not eating shit. No. No, Nick.
Don't do that.
No.
That's blasphemy.
Oh my. God.
No, it is time efficient.
No.
Well, that's a Blunkin. If you guys were
Wow.
ever wondering what
Pardon
that was.
me, but there's only been a couple times where I actually had to stop eating my meal to go take care of business. You just can't do both.
You can't. That's what. No.
I know, you seem genuinely offended. I'm
No,
like, the
bro.
only thing that's going to make this better.
You can't pack and unpack. Redundant. That was the same thing. Knob slob. I'm sure that you guys know what
I've
that
heard,
is.
yeah, I know what that is.
Knob on my. Oh no, slob on my knob. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is just another term for blowjob.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what that is.
But here's an interesting one. What about the donut smile?
Oh, hell.
No, I've never heard of a donut smile.
Ever?
No,
I'm too scared.
it's making me
what
think
do you
that
think
it
that
makes me
is?
think of some yummy pastry that Voodoo Donuts would have. Can I have the donut smile? And they're like, right there, man. And it has a smiley face from Walmart,
Oh my god.
making everybody happy.
Just say it.
It's just a blowjob.
No,
Just
Oh,
another
okay.
term, yeah.
and it's called the donut smile.
Yeah.
Just call it the O. That's what it is.
These this one's pretty good. This one's called the Bill Clinton. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Well, no.
You get a blowjob while at work.
Dang!
Oh my god.
So you don't have to be in office.
See, here's the thing about this. I mean, we've all been there. Not getting a Bill Clinton, but we've all been at work. And what is one of the best things to do at work and get paid for it that isn't sexually related? Taking a poop. We've all been there. We've all at some point have had to take a poop at work.
Oh yeah.
And like, you just, it hits you. Like, I remember years back when it hit me when I was at Walmart or whatever, when I was at work. And it just hit me. I'm like, oh man, I'm getting paid for this. This is great.
You're so
And then I went and told a coworker, and they're like, it is easily the greatest thing that you could do at work, because like no one can stop you. Like, they're just like, they can't just be like, hey, get your ass back to work. You're like, no, dude, I'm pooping. And they're like, well, fuck. I guess you win this argument.
We'll say
as
for
you were.
peeing.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's nothing. That's
Remember,
depending.
that's 1/10.
Yeah, that is like 1/10 of an orgasm. But man, there's just something about pooping. And when you get a really good one,
Man.
and then you're getting paid on top of it. I mean, peeing is like a 45-second interruption. Pooping is pooping. I could play a whole game of Woody Puzzle
I was about to say solitaire.
and get lost in it, and I'm just like, man, I'm getting paid for this. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry, Manuel.
There's another one, and this one is. Do you guys know you guys know what a rim job is, right?
Yeah.
So what if someone's doing that while jerking you off? What would you call that?
Multitasking?
At its best. Would you? Wait, have you?
No, I'm trying to think of a clever name that would be acceptable for
so
today's
a rim
youth.
job is the butthole, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then yeah, that's talent.
It's just like a reach around to the extreme.
But you're
or no,
but
going
you're busy.
underneath.
I mean, yeah, there's several ways you can go. You can tackle this
You
beast.
can milk it or you can
Yeah.
tug it.
All the while just get.
Right, your face is busy. Would you ever let somebody do that to you?
The opportunity has never arisen. I think it would probably just be one of those things where like I yelp because it's shocking.
So you would.
No, I don't know if I would. Yeah, I don't know, but it would probably be one of these things where like you clench and you're just like, yeah, I don't know if I like that.
Apparently, a lot of people that do this, they actually, and this is part of what my little segment is that they take a bath. So, have you ever taken a bath? Like gotten in the bath, sat there for a little bit, and
Oh yeah.
So then after that, it's just kind of like,
I mean, you're
just-
clean,
You're licking
more or
skin,
less.
right?
Yeah.
So and the rim thing, you don't really stick your tongue all the way in. You're just kind of playing.
You just
with
kind
it.
of like,
yeah. So it would just be like licking skin.
yeah.
And
Okay.
that's why a lot of people say they eat ass, but they're not actually, getting nitty gritty there.
They're not with a fork and spoon. They're just kind of
Right.
like just. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got you.
Apparently, it is one of those feelings that you will never want to let go of. Because that's how good it feels.
Well, okay then.
Do you know where your taint's at?
Yeah.
Okay, where is that?
It's right there.
You need to point at it. You can just describe it.
It connects your scrotum to your butthole.
Yeah,
honey.
it's that little piece of meat that's just kind of like right there, you know?
Do you know what it's called when they lick that?
Oh, fuck. I have no idea. I don't know.
Sarah, do you?
Oh, man.
No, I do not.
Take a guess.
I don't know.
What the act is called?
Tainting?
Dang.
That's pretty good.
It's just backwards. Yeah, it's taint licking, that was really creative.
Yeah.
We should start hashtag tainting. What are you doing? I'm just tainting. And then your mom is here, and it's like, oh, I think they're painting.
Yeah. Did I hear painting?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're painting. She said painting weird. Anyway, that was a short little go around of a few blowjob names.
Yeah,
and
get it?
things
The
that-
go around. Hey.
Yep.
I think this is the most puns we've done.
Oh, yeah, probably. All relating to, yeah. Thank you. That was very educational. I never would
We're
have
hip
thought.
now.
I never would have thought, getting fellatio while doing number 2. I never would have even thought of that being an option because you got to find someone who's willing to participate with you.
Yeah. Yeah, but apparently that's very popular now. A lot of guys are okay with,
No, I'm not talking about. Of course, the guy's going to be cool with that, but like you got to
ass
find.
ate.
No. Like you're doing number 2 and you're getting fellatio at the same time. Of course, the person receiving is thinking, "I'm on top of the world," but you got to think about the other person.
You try to put a cherry on top, and I said no.
I mean, come on, it's tile floor, it's hard, it's not good on the knees. What are you going to do?
There could be splashback.
There
I can't,
is.
I
Oh
can't.
my god!
Look,
didn't
I
think
saw
of
the
that.
episode of Mythbusters of the 5-second rule. Not
Doesn't
cool.
work, right?
Like no. And then they even looked around like, how dirty is the floor in the restroom? And whew, man,
dirty.
bro.
Well, your eyes got so wide. I'm sure you guys know about the other stuff like the Dirty Sanchez and stuff like that, right?
I'm not.
I've heard of that.
I've
but I don't
heard of
know
it.
what that is.
I don't know. I can't really think of what the Dirty Sanchez is.
It's just they do a mustache with the semen.
Oh, that. Okay.
So just a different facial.
Yeah.
Creative.
Yeah. Check this out. A study in 2017 discovered that using 2,000 single sexually hungry millennials, that 75% of them chose pizza as their snack of choice after a one-night stand. Distant second was the after-sex taco. It was concluded that pizza was the food millennials thought was most attractive. It was discovered that women in both short and long-term relationships put greater importance on cuddling or intimacy and bonding, professing their love to one another, while men engage in more rewarding acts like fixing a drink or making a
We
sandwich.
need to eat.
And it made me think.
Dude, if you say Sarah, it made me think. You know what, Sarah?
Sarah!
Yes, dear.
Oh my!
I don't know if this is this ain't too much information. It's not right.
He's getting bashful now.
I'm kidding. Am I blushing?
Just spit it out.
I like something sweet, and I prefer ice cream.
It's joggers.
It made me think of like, oh, this is me. I mean, I'm sure if I had pizza in the room, I'd go for it, but
He loves ice cream.
I usually don't. And whenever I'm done having me some fun, I kind of want me some ice cream every single time.
Why don't you have ice cream while you're having fun?
I don't
Because
know.
the dairy doesn't make you feel good.
That is true.
It makes
I
you
don't
feel
know.
full and fat.
Well, that's why you kind of like, you know how people use whipped cream and all that stuff. I mean, you're not just eating the whole can. You're just kind of teasing yourself. I don't know, man. I'm a fat kid at heart. I don't know.
I was talking like
If there was ice cream involved, I'd be like, get out of the way. I want this ice cream.
I was talking about eating ice cream while you're eating.
Oh,
It's
I
all
don't know.
It's like
Lay
it's
down
really-
a cookie trail of like little morsels from
That's
the ice
too
cream.
cold and sticky.
Every time I just real quick, ow, you'll get used to it. It's melting. I have to hurry.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, so I just wondered, because now y'all know I like ice cream. Is there any type of something that you guys like to eat or enjoy after y'all have fun?
I do. I always ask Madison for bacon. That might be
What?
too much information, but I did. Yeah, I'm like, can you make some bacon?
We're all adults here.
Yeah.
Your thing is bacon.
Yeah, like, can you make some bacon? And it's like, sometimes it's like 3 a.m, right? Sometimes
Not like
it's
eggs
10.
and bacon. It's just like, I just want bacon, man.
It's almost every single time between 12 to 6 a.m., right? So it's like, can you make some bacon? She's like, I gotta wake up. But sometimes,
So you got to make your own bacon.
no, sometimes she makes it. Sometimes she's like, fine, I'll do it. So after begging and pushing and just kind of please, she does.
God, she loves her man.
You have to beg for
Yeah, please.
Mine is
And but
like,
sometimes I don't ask because I'm like, no. Then she
it's
will
like,
do
no,
it.
she's
so.
gonna say no. She's gonna be like, I gotta get the pan and the oil. And
But I
this
do
whole
leave,
thing.
and then I go eat whatever.
he goes and gets a double bacon burger.
A Jack. Can I have those mini loaded tacos, please?
Oh my god, that's awesome.
And get him right this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sarah, is there anything that you fancy after you're done having fun? Is there something that you feel your body just needs back? Like, I don't know what it is about me. Like, I don't know why. Like, you know, some people, when they're done crying, they're just like, I need to eat something salty to put back what I lost. I don't know what it is about me. I'm just like, God, I need sugar. Ice cream, preferably.
I guess mine would be a soda.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Just
Nice
a simple
and
soda.
Nice and cold.
Can you imagine if she had said, yeah, a cigarette? That'd be great.
I mean, so TMI, I had 1 year where I had a lot of UTIs. So I'm pretty much too distracted with hygiene after the fact and rehydrating myself so I can prevent that. But yeah, I'll have a soda.
That happens a lot. Like, there's a lot of people who like, second, third girlfriend, sexually active girlfriend. She had that a lot with her ex, and she had told me about it, and I'm like, damn it, should I be worried about something? But that, you know, that's very common. I hear the UTI stuff.
Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about before we ride off into the sunset?
They should just call it Humpty Dumpty.
Well, there's just dude.
Come on, babe. You said you'd give me a Humpty
'Cause-
Dumpty tonight.
Yeah, because, you know, she's Humpty and he's doing the Dumpty.
Wow.
You know, God, I hope I remember that. So I'm going to be like, Sarah, here, you can watch whatever you want. I'm going to go in the, I need to go Humpty Dumpty.
And I'll be like, with who, bitch?
God.
We were just talking. So, of course, we're binge watching The Office. And he was talking about, I don't know what I would do on a first date. And I asked him, who are you going to go on a date with?
Now, yeah.
Yeah. Like, God, dude, honestly, I don't know. They were out and about, and I had thought if I was put in a position where I needed to be like on a first date, what do I do? Like, I had an in with her, and that's how I was trying to get it. I was like, I had an in with her. I've known her half of my life. So, like, we go on a, quote, date, but it's just like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I've known her or
It
stuff
was
like that.
easier.
Yeah, it's not like it's like I'm meeting a total stranger at a bar or something like that. Like, I don't know how to flirt with somebody fresh out of the box. I don't know what to do. I haven't had to do anything like that for
At
like
least.
at least a decade and a half. I just don't know how to
gonna say
handle
almost
myself.
12
Do you
years.
know how?
I would, but I watch, you know, a bunch of social media. I'm even on like fucking. I spend hours on TikTok sometimes.
Oh my god! So you have stuff that he's like,
We
look,
could talk about.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
if she's
here-
younger.
and here I am. I'm just like, I don't. You. It's like from The Simpsons. It's Ralph. He goes, so you like stuff?
Oh shit.
It's just fucking.
Stuff.
What would you guys say for next week's episode? We discuss parallel universes and doppelgangers.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds
You
good.
know want to see it? Okay, I'm sure we could find a whole litany of stuff on there, and then maybe somewhere closer down the road, we can finally get to flat Earth and see what that whole thing's about.
A bro job is a hetero male and another hetero male giving each other.
And it's a bro job.
It's called bro job.
Wow.
No, that's called closet gay.
Would you jerk?
Kitty, what are you doing? All right, we need to put a bow on this episode. Next week, we're going to talk about parallel universes and doppelgangers, so that should be a lot of fun. Till next time, his name was Manuel, her name was Sarah, my name was Nick. Bye.